I'm camped here at this river bend.
You can actually walk right along this valley down on the left and this huge on the left. Wade's going to do that from that plaque that's just over there. We've got the wind going in the right direction at the moment, which is good. And then we can say goodbye to Gids and give them a proper farewell. So, without further ado, many of us would know Gids as he was affectionately known as someone eccentric, carefree and even disorganised at times. But one thing for sure is that Gideon was the most adventurous, free-spirited person you'd ever meet, with an incredible love for the motorbikes and the bush. And this is one evidence of it right here. His adventurous nature, coupled with his exceptional riding skills on just about anything on 2 and 3 wheels, took him to places many of us can only ever wish to go. You can imagine the stories that people have said in the past about him going to places that you wouldn't go because it's just so adventurous, and the consequences were with it as well, of course. And he also took us to many historic locations around Australia, and also did 2 trips to East Timor. Everyone who knew Gids saw him as a creative improviser who built just about anything, mostly out of fiberglass and duct tape, but never really finished anything perfectly, and that was just his way. There are many stories of things falling off Gids' bike and his truck. I can attest to a few myself, but he was not one to tie things down or make things very secure, because if it fell off, well, big deal, he'd just make another one. And he was certainly very famous for not tying things down and holding things on with Velcro or duct tape or hockey straps or just about. And he loved tech screws. You might remember tech screws. Tech screwed everything on. He even held his camper, which is about 1.2 tons or something of weight, was held onto his truck with a couple of tech screws. That would definitely work in an accident. But Gids loved camping. As you all know, he really did love the bush and camping and being with the bush and nature. He did everything to connect with the bush. He loved just being part of it and just sharing, the birds and the song and listening to water rushing through in the rivers in the morning. And I can remember many a camping trip we just sat there and enjoyed it all. Sorry?
He loved it so much he built one in his own backyard.
He absolutely did. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been to his house, but he actually had a camping set up in the backyard. It was just amazing. He would go to the extraordinary lengths to find out that out-of-the-way place that he took away from the city and into a relaxed and cosy camping spot, chatting with very intelligent people with an incredibly diverse, chatting with people over a campfire. The bush was indeed his second home, and his Ulysses friends were his family. Gids was a very intelligent person with an incredible diverse knowledge of world affairs. He was also a talented musician who played the piano, accordion, keyboard and harmonica. If you've ever experienced that, you'll attest to that. It was rusty at times, but it was just lovely to listen to that as many times as we did in the mornings and the evenings. Imagine that over a campfire, you get a crystal clear night gazing at the stars and in this beautiful outdoors of ours and just listening to that sort of stuff with music. On a personal nature, Gids was a very kind-hearted, generous and gentle man who gave himself to others and cared for everyone's welfare. He always had available a smile, a handshake and a hug. was strongly connected to the Hills branch, but also connected with Macarthur, Hawkesbury and Sydney branches. Ulysses was, in reality, his real family, away from his maternal family, and at every chance kids would take the opportunity to talk to somebody about Ulysses and how social the club was. Indeed, he constantly, even right up to the end in hospital, demonstrated what it means to be a true Ulyssian. We will miss him sadly, but we're sure he's already been organising another adventure up there in the blue skies. Thank you for your attention. Anybody else like to say something?
Can I just
Come forward.
can I just say on behalf of Macarthur branch,
Come and stand up
I'm
here.
not standing up there. No. Not me. I don't like heights.
Okay.
On behalf of Macarthur branch Ulysses, I would just like to say thanks to Gideon. He came to our meetings regularly. He showed us about his adventures he had in East Timor. He showed us videos. He showed us PowerPoint presentations, and he talked about going to the outback of New South Wales. I thought, that's for me. And I did this trip with Gideon and several others, and just as John has said, he took us to places most of us would never have got to, never have seen. So for myself and for the Macarthur branch, thank you very much, Gideon. You're a great guy to have known. It was a pleasure to know you, and I'm sure you're still organising wherever you are. Thank you.
You want to hand up?
Back the other way. I'll be right. As you know, Gideon made friends wherever he went. When we went to Albury Wodonga, there was a couple from Tasmania there at the AGM. When we were walking around the campsite, Gideon saw that they had some GSs, so approached them, said, "Oh, I'm going for a ride on the dirt, you want to come?" So we organised a little dirt ride, about 5 or 6 of us. He had his spider and off we went the following day, and they were very appreciative of that because they were there by themselves, and he really touched them with all his anecdotes and all his stories that he told on the day that we had with him, and they just wanted to remember him and for today as well. She says he just touched them so much with all his words and that, and Robert and I would like to also remember him. We're members of Macarthur also, but we've been dirt riding for quite a few years and been on riding off in the bush and everything. When he first approached the dirt riders, started doing the dirt riding with the Ulysses and that, and he was the initial part of the dirt riders section, or adventure riders as they're called, I should say, and until Alf took over and actually it became a SIG group within the Ulysses. So Gideon basically started it all up from years ago, and I like to thank him for doing that because he really has taught me a lot and showed me a lot, etc. So just to remember you, Giddy. Thank you.
Leonie?
I'll just say,
I'm
just saying, this is the essence of Gideon. People he loved and cared about, and being out here in the bush, this is just Gideon. And that's what he will always remember in me.
Absolutely.
For 3 years, and I can tell you there was not a lot of difference between camping and living except for the amount of fiberglass that was around the place. He was a delight. He showed me many wonderful places, and he would get great joy out of discovering an area that we'd ridden into that he hadn't seen before, and he would just be absolutely overwhelmed with, oh, I can't believe this, you know. And we did that many, many times, and he befriended so many people along the way. You know, we'd see someone mowing their farmland, and he'd go over and chat with them next to him. We're having coffee and cake up in their house, and you know, it was an amazing journey that I had with him, and I am very, very grateful. And I know all of you have experienced outrageous trips, interesting, surprising, and of course so much with his bits and pieces that used to fall off. I had an MG, he towed it one day the wrong way, so you know it fell off. Because the wheels came undone, because you can only drive, yeah, anyway, we won't go there. But no, I must say that, you know, I had great joy in meeting him. He was an unusual, when I first met him, which was out at the Warren Bungles, who was there? A few of us. And I must say, I don't know what drew him to me, but he just, you know, he was scruffy, he had holes in his t-shirt, long hair down to here. But anyway, that's how it all started. But he was, yeah, I must say, he was a delight to live with. And as I said, out on the road, at home, that was Gids. And he just befriended so many people, and so many people got to love him. And you all love him, and that's great. So, thank you.
Yeah. Fall backwards,
Okay, this is a little poem that's been I've posted before on the Ulysses.
Louder.
This is a poem that's been posted on the Ulysses site just after Gids passed. It's written by Anon. Okay. Not how did he die, but how did he live? Not what did he gain, but what did he give? Those are the units to measure the worth of a man as a man, regardless of birth. Not what was his church, nor what was his creed, but had he befriended those really in need? Was he ever ready with word of good cheer to bring back a smile, to banish a tear? Not what did the sketch in the newspapers say, but how many were sorry when he passed away?
It's going to be very short. I've, like so many people here, have
It's okay, just take a breath. Let's get back.
already said their goodbyes many times, and I don't think I'll ever.
Big breath. Big breath.
I don't think I'll ever understand why he was taken from us. But on his behalf, I'd like to say, well, you already know, you're his family and friends. I'd also like to publicly acknowledge the time that Rory and Marley spent with him.
Yes.
Yeah, here.
At the hospital, considering their own problems that they were having with their families. They were there every possible opportunity they had. So I'm sorry for overtaken, but I'd like to acknowledge their attendance.
Yeah. Well spoken. Has everyone got a tissue?
Yeah,
Don't need
first of all,
one
thanks everyone for coming out today. Sorry. Yeah, it's okay if I'm not talking, I'm okay, but as soon as I start talking, yeah, I know he was a good mate to all of you in so many ways, as you were to him. And so much the spirit of adventure came from him. I don't know, he's passed that on to you, like those random adventures he'd take you on where you might go down a trail and wonder if you're going to actually come back out the other side. Yeah, I grew up with that, right?
Oh my God, you're still here.
Yeah, it does surprise me that I made it this far, but just things we do, like as a kid, we'd always go off on camping trips and just doing ridiculous things where I think back now, I'm like terrified to have thought that I did this kind of stuff. I don't know if maybe you took some of you guys to Bungonia, there's a caving spot down there. Remember, I would have been like 8 or 9, and we went there, okay, let's go caving, Wade. All right. And so all of a sudden we've got this improvised gear where he's welded some steel rings together and gotten some rope from Bunnings. And yeah, next thing I know, I'm like 150 feet down one of the deepest limestone caves in Australia. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the sort of stuff we get up to, and that's the sort of adventure that he's passed on to me, and I know he's passed on to you. And
With a few more safety.
a little bit more safety, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We learn as we go.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess that's the thing with Dad that's going to live on in all of us. Is that spirit for adventure and, you know, appreciation for beautiful places like this. And yeah, it's just nice to be here today to take him back home.
Absolutely. Well done.
That's all. Thanks, guys.
Well done.
I don't know if you guys saw, there's a park here. Put in for Dad a while ago. It's a good spot. The sun comes up right over there. Remember, this is he took me here quite a few times. Sitting here once and there's like little mics bouncing around on the rocks and robbing away these nice here. But, yeah, maybe needs to come and have a talk to Dad. Hang out with him. Yeah, wait, wait. Dog food. So this goes well, huh?
Go, Gideon.
Going, oh my god, I'm sure that's right. And I think we should take off and we should go this way. So let's all raise our glasses and thank you to everybody that helped Gizzy along his way, because he did have a really rough trip right at the end. And there many of you contribute to his well-being and just making him smile when he was going through a really tough time. So thank you very much to all of you that did that as well. And for making him smile on all the journeys you did. Okay? and I just wish you'd all share those stories today, because they would be endless, okay? Because I know, like me, every time you turn your head around you think, I remember this, I remember that time. I remember that. Oh, I remember that time. So yeah, cheers everybody. Cheers.
We should all say how we first met him. I never forget at the Coffs Harbour AGM when I saw Gideon and his bike, and he was done out like Steptoe and Son with his clothesline and his umbrellas and pots and pans and his bit of he had every hobby, including the kitchen sink.
I can tell you a story about the dominator. I also had and they'd be playing side by side in some country town. And they'd walk up and they'd look at this bloke and say, "What is that?" And I said, "Mate, it's one of those. All these fiberglass bags." Some minor rock.
Yeah, that was just brilliant.
The washing board.
I met Gideon at the Warrumbungle. It's my first trip away after I got back on my bark after my husband passed away, quite a few years later. And I got up on this bike and I was greeted down at McDonald's at Castle Hill and had a bit of ribbons put on mine so they knew that I was part of them, just in case I can't at the end or not. And so we got up to the Warrumbungles and I had to call in and pick up a bourbon Coke and a bottle of champagne before I got up to put my tent up. And I won't tell you the rest of that night, but anyway, they put me to bed. So I think Gideon might have been watching Fargo. She'll do. So, but
As I said early on, I put you to bed that night, but Gids won you.
But he was, when I met him, he had hair down to here, he had a holy singlet on, he had his camera flashed this side, and you had his bag full of cherry tomatoes on this side.
And almost all of his kids in chapel on the highway behind him.
Yeah, and
It's been like that for a long time. I've had the opportunity to look at an enormous number of photos. We've got all these photos from his estate. And he's long hair and stuff all over the place. It's just very characteristic.
It would be nice if people had those memoirs that they could actually put them, even if they were to write them
down, send them to somebody that could collate them. I don't know, it would be, it's probably a big job, but it would be nice.
Thousands of
Yeah, but the memoirs as well. So,
And
yeah.
They've had 2 terabyte drive full.
But the stories though, the stories that you remember, write them down, would be great.
Yeah.
Good point.
Okay, who else met him the first time we met him, hey?
We met him we followed him and Jenny on our first Ulysses ride, and we were heading to meet everybody, and we saw these two, and we just followed them, hoping that they were going to the same place.
Little did we know that we were following Gideon.
Yeah, exactly.
But following must mean that there were things launching off the
I picked a pillow up off his bike. We're going to the Warren Bunkles, I think. Yeah.
The secret bread trail.
red trail of sausages.
That tube of
Big tube launcher. Back, piece of PVC pipe and launching all the food.
Cans of baked beans.
Around the corner of that.
The gas bottles that I thought were the most fun. Bouncing down the highway. It was bizarre. Sleeping bag. Ladder. Sleeping bag and clothing. Underwear, lots of underwear. Flying out behind. You stop off, pick it up, catch up, give it back.
I lost one of his beer kegs off the top of his coming back from Grey Gums one day. We were camping out there. And he came back and we met up back at Richmond. And I said to him, where's your beer keg, your fire keg? He goes, oh, not there anymore, is it? Like it didn't faze him at all.
Take another
You
one.
didn't tie it down, did you? He said, yeah. It was a really good knot. And then, you know, like, really good knot. And I used top class rope. It's all that UV affected stuff that just breaks up. You didn't tie it down. No. It's somewhere on the side of the road.
It's not the only time you lost
I'm glad I wasn't going the other way.
You reminded me of this when he flipped the camper?
No, it wasn't. But he was really. We used to have a little holiday place at YE, and he actually flipped it. He literally down the road. And so he came into our little place, holiday place. We fixed up his garden.
He's crying.
Got across the road.
Oh, he's crying, I think. Oh, is he? Oh,
At one time we were driving going, I don't know what the name of the road is, it's near the BP at Whitfield. And I'm driving behind, I've got a motorbike car on the back, he's got a trailer on the back, and his spare wheel came down, mounted underneath his trailer. With a little rack that he made up, and of course he's sturdy tech screws. And the wheel fell down forward, not backwards. So it fell down forward, and as a result, the tyre fell onto the road, jammed into the road, flipped up like that, lifted the trailer into the air about 6 feet, and crashing down, and meanwhile the tyre's gone bounds. Right behind it, it's literally gone this far from my head, straight up. I was riding the big cruiser with a trailer on the back.
Oh my God.
And then about, would have been maybe 2 or 3 months later, I'm driving behind him, I was the car at the time, and he had this camper.
You still haven't learnt, John? He's experienced a lot of
on the radio and said, getting your ladder to do recently. He goes, no, it's fine. I said, mate, if the ladder falls off your bloody truck, I'm going to drive straight over and destroy it. As God is my witness, his ladder fell off his truck 3 seconds later. Couldn't believe it. I was fired up back then. So I went up to his truck and picked up the ladder, threw it on the trailer, met up with him because he was far enough ahead. I said, show me this rope you've tied this down with. It was one of these stupid little frayed ropes. So I've got his rope, which was maybe 2 or 3 minutes long, got my crusty little whittling knife out and cut it into 1 foot lengths. He got down right back and I ran the 10mm knife. Tie it down with this instead. He probably did.
I do remember a celebration that you guys were heading to Orange for Wayne and Lynn's, one of Wayne's birthday party. And I was riding with somebody else up the Bathurst Highway. And then as we went past this car, I saw there was a cop car and a truck. And I saw this hand come out like that. And it was Gibbs. And he was standing there, you were there. he was standing there arguing with the cop. There was two of them actually, and he was arguing with the cop about the swinging axe off the back of his. Because we went up the road a bit. Went up the road a bit, stopped, said to my mate, "Was that Gideon?" I said, "Yeah." He's arguing with the cops. Do you think we should go back? Yes. Okay, so we swung around, we went back, and yeah, the cops had gone, but yeah, he was in the love shack with all those axes and the shower. And one cop was supporting it by the sounds of it, the other one was trying to book him. So yeah, that was incredible.
I know I've recounted this story before, but I don't know if you heard. Wait, I don't know if you heard this one. We're heading up towards Carnarvon Gorge, and we pulled into Mitchell, and we looked at the pool. No, we went to the pool. So we parked out in the National Park, and he had a brand new lantern, and we lit a fire over there, like out there a bit, and we put up this new camper trailer. It was awesome. I loved this. It was a rooftop camper. It was like heaven. I've got a real So anyway, so we've gone off for a walk, and we've walked through this riverbed, and we're coming back, and there were some people over in the lean-to who stayed overnight in it. And we're chatting away to them because we didn't think they were very social the night before, so we thought, oh, we'll just catch up. So we're chatting with them like this, and they're there. And they looked over our shoulder and they said, your tent's on fire. And we looked around and went, oh shit. So we braced over because the tent was absolutely ablaze, but you had gas bottles up in the top of the twin cab, which is where we had our clothes and everything. So he's jumped in the car, burning, and you have to wait for that coil to go, you know, on the Anyway, got it going, and he swung it around so that the wind was blowing it away this way, and then we just hit it with, this other couple rushed over with spades and God knows what. Anyway, the whole lot was just gone. Everything. It was just this kind of. So we piled it all back on the back of the truck, and we took it to the ship, and we pushed it all off. And there's ash everywhere, and he said to me, he says, we're going home now. We can't do this. I said, no, we're not. He said, what do you mean we're not going? I said, no, we're not going home. We're going to go to Roma, and we're going to get pillows and blankets, and we'll just make do with all the other stuff we've got. So we went in there, we got a tarp, and so then we headed out to Carnarvon Gorge, and we went into a creek bed. Really good choice. And we got the canvas, and we right along the edge, and we had the bed and the pillows all underneath, and that's what we did for the rest of our trip, you know. So we just made do. And then we went into this other place, I can't remember the name now, and it was one of those places full of fish wheelers, huge caravans. You can imagine us. So yeah, that was another story, but that was amazing. Dealt with that. But when he got into that truck, you know, when it was absolutely on fire, I thought, oh Jesus. So
it was the right thing to do in a way.
Unbelievable. But yeah. So that was, and it was only because we had a sputtering foam container just outside the door, and the fire came through and hit that. And he bought, like he did this beautifully, we had a table like we never had a table.
I'm camped here at this river bend, the snowy flowing by. I can see the wind and clouds at play in the big blue mountain sky. Then I hear the sound of a whip crack, it came from yesterday. It'll stir the blood in mountain men should again they come this way. Bushmen in those early days, leather straining hard, raced wild horse down a mountain spur to a hidden holding yard. Then knowing eyes flowed over them, seeking out that special one, mountain bred with mountain heart and like the wind can run. In a dash for life or to turn a beast, they knew he'd give it all. Through timbered hills with broken ground, such horse would rarely fall. And stockmen knew the value of one born in the scrub, and you'll hear old timers tell you why in any mountain pub. They all claimed they had the best, that only they could ride through winter snows and swollen creeks and peaks near 1 mile high. And they'll tell you how they broke him, and man, they had some fun. He'll twist and turn and set you on a course out to the sun. Now the mountain men have ridden on to a place in our folklore. Their deeds, the words of balladeers, forever will recall. Their time up there, the life they led, are in Australia's past. With our modern way of thinking, they just knew it wouldn't last. Here I'm camped here at this river bend, the snowy flowing by. I can see the wind and clouds at play in the big blue mountain sky. And I hear the sound of a whip crack, it came from yesterday. It'll stir the blood in mountain men should again they come this way. It'll stir the blood in mountain men should again they come this way. It'll stir the blood in mountain men should again they come this way. It'll stir the blood in mountain men should again they come this way. It'll stir the blood in